What is going on, lads? Chelsea Football Club have just been embarrassed in the Bernabeu. And you know what? It wasn't because Real Madrid outplayed them. It was because they failed to even turn up. The biggest game of Chelsea's season, and the players forgot to turn up. Frank Lampard said, if you're worried for a Champions League quarter-final, do not turn up. Don't come. They all turned up. They all were out there worried and they forgot to play. Chelsea, what is going on? The fact that Frank's in charge is beyond me. He showed again tonight that he has absolutely no tactical intellect, no tactical awareness when it comes to football. A brilliant player, but horrific when it comes to management. His team was a shambles. But somehow, after being 10 men in the Bernabeu, we've managed to take a 2-0 loss to the Bridge. Somehow, there's a chance. This is Chelsea, isn't it? This is what happens with Chelsea. Arguably, our first game against Madrid last year was worse. We had it harder the second leg last year. We had to go to them. We had to go to the Bernabeu and deliver a performance that no one even knew that we were capable of. And we did it. And now we've only got to come back to Stamford Bridge and turn around a 2-0 win against a Real Madrid side that, quite frankly, aren't the Madrid we all know. Clinical, yes. They take their chances when they need to. And honestly, if they have to turn it on, then I think they will beat us. But there is something somewhere that is telling me Chelsea have a chance. And I don't know what that is, but that's just Chelsea. But the one thing is for sure is that if the players turn up or fail to turn up like they did like tonight and at the weekend next week against Real Madrid at Stamford Bridge, then there is no chance. But if they turn up and they fight and they're willing to give it all, then maybe, just maybe there is. But I'm seriously worried about some of the players that are currently putting on the Chelsea shirt at the moment. I'm seriously worried. And what I would say is that a couple of players did get shown their level tonight. And if they want to be better and they want to play at the top level of the game, then they're going to have to improve. They're going to have to watch their performance and see what the top players do. Wesley Fofana, I'm looking at you, a good player. But Vinicius is the level of player you need to be able to defend against. Reece James, I'm worried you're injured. I think you might need to just go and have an operation if that's what it is. If not, that performance tonight isn't good enough. You look worried. You look like you're scared about re-injuring yourself. You don't look like the Reece that we love, the Reece that we know. And if it's as simple as having an operation and things could be better, then go and do it, Reece, please. Chile must have been so frustrated tonight. We didn't use the wide players once. Every single time we went forward, we lost the ball. It just broke down. But the worst thing was that every time we lost the ball, no one ran back to press for it to win it back. This is the response. Hands up in the air, moaning at each other. It's the biggest game of the season. And I miss the generation when we had Frank before, when he was playing, and your Drogba and your Terry and Czech. These players knew how to motivate and lead the team through these situations, to drag us through it. Big individual performances in tough games. No one out there tonight had any leadership. No one knew how to do that. Because this team just doesn't have that. This team's never learned how to do that. We're toothless in front of goal. We don't punish any small chance that we get. We get massive opportunities in some games and we just fail to convert them. And then in these games, when the tiniest chances matter so much more, of course we're not going to score them because we haven't been able to do that all season. Raheem Sterling, a shadow of his former self, a shadow of the... You know, Raheem Sterling has got the second most goals of an Englishman in the Champions League. Second to only Wayne Rooney. A lethal finisher. Raheem Sterling. And it pains me to say it, but maybe Raheem Sterling is a system player. A system that even Pep Guardiola no longer uses, and that's why Man City felt it was the time to let him go, to remove him. People still think that Manchester City play this lovely style of football and this individual small player ticky-tacky style. The team I saw Manchester City put out last night reminded me of a Chelsea of old. 5 or 6 players towering over the opposition. Units of men. 6 foot plus. Dominating the game but technically gifted at the same time. It reminded me of those old teams that Jose would put out. And we'd walk out and we'd be this huge team that intimidated every other team that we'd come up against. And then we'd put the ball down on the pitch and we could play. And that feels so far gone at the moment because we have this tiny team and the tactics we're using don't work. A few weeks ago we were lumping crosses into the box to no one. Today we're playing long balls to no one. The idea, whose idea is this? Well, it's the manager's, it's Frank's. Frank instructed them to play like that tonight. And that shows Frank's level. Frank is a championship manager at best, and even then he had a gifted squad with Derby. Frank Lampard almost appears to me that he turned up on his coaching badges and he got them because of who he was as a player. There are players who have achieved far less than Frank Lampard as a player and are far, far better managers. Far, far better. Or able to get their point across. It doesn't mean that because you're a good player or great in Frank Lampard's case, that you are capable as a manager. And the fact that he has the job is beyond me. I have no words for that. I had all my words, unfortunately, when I was away. I cannot believe he got the job. And that is where I'll stop. Frank failed at his last 2 clubs. He was taking Everton down. He didn't achieve with Chelsea. He says we had a bad team. He says it was the youth team. A year later, without hardly any new additions, we won the Champions League. And even the additions that we did get, they didn't provide that much. Frank Lampard said, my biggest achievement in football was getting Chelsea into the Champions League that year. He had great players. And arguably our best striker in years, Tammy Abraham. And we sold him. And you know what? There were times when I thought, there is so much better than Tammy. And I do believe that there is. But do you know what? At least he wore the shirt with pride and he put the goals in the back of the... He put the ball in the back of the net, scored the goals. Young players who were hungry to perform, hungry to play for the club that they knew and had grown up in. They wanted to wear the shirt. They wouldn't have gone out and given that performance tonight. Yeah, they got showed up against Bayern Munich. Big time back then. But they would have grown and they would have learned and would have seen the level. And it just embarrasses me that we have to turn up week in, week out to watch Chelsea, support them, and that's what we get back. We look like mugs because the players aren't bothered because they showed tonight that they're not. But I'm praying somewhere, somehow, Ashley Cole, Frank Lampard, you find the way to get the message across to these players of what it takes to wear that Chelsea shirt and show them that 2-0 at home against Real Madrid, there's still a chance. And I'm praying that we find a way to turn it round. Come on, Chelsea, please. Let's get a win against Brighton. Let's get a bit of momentum. 4 games without a goal is not good enough for Chelsea Football Club. Even in a season when we failed to score goals, it's not as simple as buying a striker and solving these problems. There are far greater problems that need to be resolved first. I'm praying that you do one thing for the rest of the season, Chelsea, and that is just turn up. Turn up. If you're selected to play for Chelsea Football Club, just turn up. Please. Do what we would all do and just play for the shirt and give it your all if you ever got that opportunity. That's simple in my eyes. Very, very simple. And my worry is that if we lose to Real Madrid, then they're not going to turn up for the rest of the season and we'll just keep falling down the table. But it's tough at the moment being a Chelsea fan. Let me know your thoughts down below. Let me know what you thought Frank got wrong, because there's a lot that he did. A lot that he got wrong. That's my rant. It's not really that. I'm so down being a Chelsea fan at the moment. I could be far, far more vocal and shout and whatever, but you know what? I can't even bring myself to do that at the moment. I'm finding it really, really tough. watching Chelsea at the moment is really tough. But yeah, let me know your thoughts. If you like the content, let me know. I still want to talk about this game. I might drop another video, so keep an eye out as well. I'll see you all in the next one.